Hey, what's going on, everybody? I just wanted to talk real quick about how I make my burger patties. So y'all stick around. Let's get right to it. Switch. Alright, so whenever you're making a burger patty, man, the first thing I want you guys to take a look at is what kind of spatula are you using. You don't want to use the plastic spatulas like this one here, man. You know, get really cheap. You go to IKEA and you grab them out of the shelf or something like that. The problem is with this, it's not a hard surface. The surface isn't hard enough. You want something to really scrape that crust from up underneath the patty. So these things are a definite no. We don't forget about those. But what you do love, we all have them hanging around somewhere on a grill or somewhere buried in the cabinet somewhere. Some of these things right here. I mean, these are perfect. You can use them in the house. They're not just for your grill. You can also use them in the house, in your pan when you're cooking. But yeah, so it has a hard surface on it, man. You can really scrape. What people don't look at is that you can use one of these. You know, a joint knife, I think this one is called. I picked it up at the hardware store for just under like 10 bucks. These things work really good. I like these. I mean, we all have them laying around the house somewhere. Yeah, this is particularly called a joint knife. Sometimes we call them putty knives, but putty knives are a little bit smaller. So it's a little flexible. You can see that there, how it's flexing, you know. So you can kind of get up underneath there, you know. You don't want to get those ones that's really hard and stiff and doesn't flex. The handle on it is really cool. The handle on it is, you know, you can kind of wash any bacteria. It's not porous is the word I'm looking for. Not, you know, bacteria or food, anything. Just wash it off, disinfect it, and you should be good to go, man. So a putty knife, use that. You can go a little more commercial grade and get yourself a nice burger spatula, you know, just for flipping hamburgers. This is the one I use that I ordered offline here. I really like this thing here. It works great. You can just kind of see size comparison between the two, you know, that I use. They're almost the right length and stuff for flipping. So nice sharp edge. You want that hard surface, metal, steel, whatever you want to use, thin enough and sharp enough, you know, to get up underneath that crust and get it done. So hey, those are spatula choices. Next, we're gonna move on to the patty. All right, so the ground beef. I just went to the store. I went to Myers, picked up 80-20. That's what you want to get. 80-20, 80% lean beef and 20% fat. And that's going to be like a really good mixture, real basic, real simple mixture. I mean, you don't have to get too complicated with ratios and stuff like that. Like I say, I'm just trying to keep this real simple for you guys. So 80-20 lean ground beef. One thing, you always want to make sure you handle your meat cold. But yeah, it has to be cold when you're handling it. So always trying to before you work it and shape it and have it the way you want to, make sure that it's really cold. All right, so the ground beef patty, I like to just get whatever size that you want to make. I like to just get a nice little handful, about this amount in there. And here's what the first thing I see people that they do wrong. Well, the first thing is that they handle the meat while it's very warm. You know, they let the hamburger meat sit out a little bit and it starts to get room temperature. I mean, even if it's out for about 10-15 minutes, even that's, still too long. One of the reasons why you don't want your hamburger meat to be warm is because it starts to loosen up and break down and render down the fat that's in there. You want the fat to stay in that 20% fat that's in this 80% beef. You want that fat percentage to stay inside the hamburger patty. And when you're cooking it, if it's already at room temperature, it's just gonna leak right out. You want that fat to stay in there and sear and all married together with the meat while it's cooking. And you're gonna get that nice crust
to it that you're going to end a really distinctive hamburger taste that you get in some of your favorite hamburger restaurants. The second thing I see people do wrong a lot is that they grab it and they start doing this. Why, oh why, are you constantly working this meat like this? You don't need to do this at all. What you're doing, you're starting to warm up the fat in there, and you're breaking down everything that's supposed to stay in out. I mean, and then you also it'll interfere with the texture of it, and it starts to become gummy. It'll start coming off on your hands. I don't know why we like to just go back and forth with the meat all the time and work it too much. This is garbage now. I'm not gonna use this. I will not cook with this. This is not gonna work for me. So let's throw that off to the side. I'm gonna grab another piece. You want to keep it as loose, you know, as possible. We'll work it as much as less as you can here. So all I'm gonna, it's nice and cold. I'm just gonna form a nice little patty. Not working it too much, and that's it.
All right, so another important thing is the seasonings that I use. A lot of people come to me and ask me, hey, what kind of seasoning do you use? What kind of seasoning do you use? Or while I'm out, I even ask and talk to the cooks as well, what's the best seasoning for a hamburger? And all it is salt and pepper. That's all you need. I like to use the sea salt. Sea salt works really good for it. See if my camera can zoom in on it. Sea salt. This is one that I just picked up at Kroger's. It's the one that you can turn upside down and crack, and you can adjust the size of it that you want. But in this, we're just going to use some regular black pepper. We're just going to use some regular sea salt. That's all you need. I only season one side. That's just how it works out for me and how I like it. I like the taste. A little bit of black pepper. A little bit of salt. That's it. So to start cooking this, you don't need any oil on the surface because you're going to get a lot of grease and oil from the actual hamburger patty itself. Make sure your surface is nice and hot. I mean, like, I don't know if you ever you cook a steak, it has to be really hot. The surface has to be really hot to cook a steak. Same with this. You don't want to slow cook any hamburger meat on the on top of this grill. And this is made by Lodge. I like to just put it over 2 eyes on my stove. It's like the cast iron material. So this surface is nice and hot on here, and I'm gonna do is throw this right on. Smash down on it. You want to smash down. Smash down, hold for about 10 seconds. Let that cook. It has literally been about 2 minutes, and you can kind of get gray at the top. So now at the bottom, what we want to do is scrape that bottom. That's why we don't want to use, you want to get the bottom of that nice and scrape so you can get that crust that formed underneath. Flip it. That's what we want to see. That's the color that we want to see right there on your hamburger patty. That's all the fat, that's all the ground beef, that's your salt and your pepper all married together and mixed in to form one patty. Now at this point, it's pretty much all the way done. If you want a cheese, just throw cheese on top of it, let it melt, and throw it onto your hamburger bun. Or what you can do is have your patty in a little bowl. Make sure you throw your seasoned side down first. I forgot to mention that in the other video. I think it helps with the making the crust on your hamburger patty. So go ahead and throw the ball right on there and season side down. Take your spatula, smash it right down. Same technique. Hold it for 10 seconds. And let that cook for about 2 minutes, or when you start to see the red juices become clear, or up the sides of it starts to get that brown color as well up the sides of the hamburger, and then it'll be time to flip. Alright, so time to flip this one. Let's see what it looks like. Scrape it. Beautiful. That's what you want right there. That's what you want. Looks good. Also, never ever use frozen or unfrozen hamburger meat. Those ice crystals get in there and just completely ruin the whole makeup of the hamburger patty, man, and doesn't taste good at all. Never to use frozen or refrozen or unthawed hamburger meat. I mean, if you have to, hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, but if you want a good quality, good tasting hamburger, never frozen, never unthawed. The cooking surface that you use is just as important as any other element in making a good quality hamburger patty. You don't want to use the non-stick surfaces; those are out. Anything cast iron, anything like commercial grade steel, stainless steel top surfaces, those are going to be your best bets. If you're at home cooking these, you don't want to cook them indoors unless you have a good ventilation system, because that fat and that hamburger meat creates a lot of smoke. So if you have a good ventilation system that's going to vent that stuff outside, cooking inside is a plus. You'd be out of the weather, out of elements. But like me, I love being out in the cold. I love being out in any kind of weather cooking a good hamburger. It doesn't matter to me. It makes it all the better. But if you're going to cook them outside, here's how I do it. Let's check it out. First, get yourself one of these griddles. Love them. You can use both sides of them. That has like the ridges on it. That's a nice flat surface. Cast iron. Probably about 20 bucks. You can get yourself one. It's going to work good for your grill. So this is what I do. You can take out your grill grate. These things are called flame tamers. Pull your flame tamers out. Take 2 of them out. Put your grill back. You don't need the flame tamers because this is going to go right over the top of those. See how that's set up? Turn on, and then this is going to be your cooking surface. And this is how I do it 90% of the time. I really do it in the house because I'm going to have a really good ventilation system to do what I need to do. So go ahead and let this thing get nice and hot, and throw your hamburger patties on. And that's pretty much about it. We can do a quick recap. You have a good spatula, the right spatula. You have a good cooking surface, 80-20 ground beef, just salt and pepper, and you know, throw it on there, a hot surface. Let that crust form, and that's pretty much about it. So hey, I'm gonna try and do more in-home videos, just quick burger tips, quick videos, trying different things, you know, in my house. And you guys always remember, first bite the best bite. Stick around for the next video.
Switching lanes, hamburger on my brain.